So, as you know, you have 30 minutes to present. After your presentation, you will have a seat, and the commissioner will ask you questions. You may start now.
Good afternoon, professors. The name of my study is the main factors that discourage students' participation in a Chilean EFL class at university level. First, it is important to mention that this study was carried out to students from EFL class from Universidad Santo Tomás. This class is called Inglés Básico 1, and it is the first English course that students take in this line of English courses. This course was composed by 18 students that belong to 5 different programs. The research problem was identified after having observed a couple of lessons and noticed that some students didn't participate in the majority of the activities. According to Mustafa Surjani and Yunus 2010, despite the importance often assigned to participation in classrooms, it has been repeatedly reported that most students remain passive in class. With these lines, it was decided to study what are the factors that discourage students' participation. And it is important to say that it was decided to apply it in this context because in this course, students are from different programs and they are different ages. So these elements could lead to richer results. The purpose of this study was to identify the factors that produce lack of participation of the students. And the research question was, what are the main factors that discourage student participation in a Chilean EFL class at university level? The general objective was to determine what are the main factors that discourage students' participation in a Chilean EFL class at university level, and the specific objectives was first to identify which are some of the possible psychological factors, and the second objective, the factors that were related to the teaching strategies applied by the teacher. The assumptions were that it was expected to find that these two factors, psychological factors and teaching strategies, had negative effects on student participation. Regarding the theoretical framework, the first concept to be defined is students' participation. According to Mihan, 1979, participation in classroom lessons involves the integration of academic and social interaction skills. This definition is supported by Yoshida 2009, who gives a more detailed definition, stating that second language and foreign language learners participate in class in various ways. They directly interact with their teachers by answering questions or asking their own. Therefore, this study, students' participation referred to students' active interaction during the lessons, which could be observed through observable and non-observable behavior. The second concept is psychological factors. Taking the word from its roots, Fernald, 2008, defined psychology as the scientific study of behavior, experience, and mental processes in all living creatures. The two parts of this word, psychology, expressed in reverse order, mean the study of the mind. In this case, psychological factor refers to the mental processes that could affect students' participation. It was taking into consideration mainly the beliefs and feelings toward the study of the students. Finally, teaching strategies are defined as all the strategies the teacher used in the class. As Singh and Rana 2004 state, the individual teacher must design and select each strategy he employs in his instruction, and each design or selection should be based on his interpretation of what he thinks will constitute effective instruction for his particular population. The authors also mention the elements that teaching strategies contain, like for example the type of activities and tasks used, the material employed by the teacher, and the grouping of students. Regarding the methodological framework, this research paradigm chosen is the interpretive paradigm, which mainly consists on interpretation by the researcher in order to understand a particular topic and share the results and conclusions with others. This is a qualitative study, since in this case the researcher collected information from a specific group of people experiences. The design chosen is ethnography, since a specific group of people will be the subjects of the subject of this study, and the researcher only focused the observations of the behavior of the people from that particular group. The procedure was that after having clearly identified the objectives of this study, the data collection instruments were applied, which are going to be explained later. Then this data collected was analyzed using different techniques, and conclusions were arrived, and the question could be answered. The scenario subjects in this study, as I mentioned before, is course called Inglés Básico 1, Section 7, composed by 18 students from 5 different programs: nursery, veterinary medicine, mining engineering, medical technology, and agronomy. It is important to mention that this is a general English course, and the contents revised in this course are not really connected to the students' programs. Also, the teacher of this subject is part of the subjects of this study. The data collection techniques or instruments applied were 3. The first one was an interview to students. This interview was applied to 3 different students. One student that never participated, one student that sometimes participated, and one student that participated more than the rest of the students. The questions were mainly related to the students' feelings and beliefs toward the subject and the teacher. Then we have the interview to the teacher with questions mainly related to her perception regarding the students' feelings and interest toward the subject. Also, some observations were applied in 3 different classes or parts of the lesson, and some notes regarding the students' participation were taken. In the data analysis process, the information from each instrument was categorized in a data categorization matrix. For example, this one is from the observations. Some categories emerged and they were given ad hoc. After doing that, the same information classified in the previous matrix was classified in a triangulation matrix, in which information regarding one category was classified taking into account the 3 different instruments. So, for example, this category is called students' participation, and here I included information that I get from the observations and information that I get for the interview to the teacher. From this process, the different categories that emerged were students' participation, students' anxiety, students' feelings and beliefs toward the subject, subject contents, and teaching strategies. Regarding the consideration of trustworthiness, it can be said that this research was carried out in a real teaching situation in which the group was not controlled by the researcher. Also, that there was a selection of methods and instruments that was based on many factors, like the type of students, their age, and many elements that characterize the participants. Also, it has to be said that the data collection materials were previously validated by different experts and researchers in order to ensure that they were going to collect useful and reliable data for the study. Finally, regarding the findings, thanks to all the data analysis, it can be concluded that students didn't participate during the lessons, which could be extremely related to the students' anxiety levels, since one student explicitly mentioned that she felt embarrassed when participating because she felt she had a low level of English and a bad pronunciation. Also because she felt embarrassed because of the distribution of the course. She said she didn't feel really comfortable talking in English with people that she didn't know very well, that were from other programs and that they didn't share more hours a week. Regarding the students' feelings and beliefs toward the subject, these elements didn't affect the students' participation because, in general terms, the students felt really comfortable with the relationships with their classmates and teachers, and they believe this course was really useful for their future professional lives. Thus, in general terms, this didn't affect their participation. Anyway, if the feelings and beliefs toward the subject would have been negative, a deeper relation could have been done. It was also found that the teaching strategies affected participation, since the teacher didn't use strategies or activities that enhanced the students to participate. She always asked the question in a general way, so if the students didn't want to participate, they just didn't do. Finally, another factor that was derived from the data analysis, but that was not taken into account in the design of the study, is the subject context. It was found that these factors didn't affect their participation because the students mainly believed that it was okay for them to have a general English course because it was the first English course. So to start getting used to the language, it was okay to have a more general course. Also because the teacher said that because of her experience, it was not completely sure that the students would participate more if the English was specific for each program. Regarding the fulfillment of research objectives, it can be said that the question was completely answered because it was possible to identify which psychological factors and the teaching strategies were connected to students' participation. However, deeper analysis can be made in order to make deeper relations among how these factors affect students' participation. The limitations of the study was that it was not possible to observe many lessons, and so it was not possible to observe how students' participation changed over time, and also because in the observations all students were never all students were present, so there was an absence of many students in the lessons. Also, it can be said that some students could have omitted some pieces of information regarding their feelings and beliefs toward the subject and the teacher. The contributions of this study is that it provides a more contextualized reality of how this phenomenon occurs in Chilean context. So for teachers, it is really relevant because they have a closer view of the reality. The suggestion for further research in the area is that more specific and deeper relations among the factors and results can be made. So, for example, an action research could focus on proving what are the teaching strategies that encourage or discourage students' participation, as well as how to lower students' anxiety. Regarding the metacognitive analysis and the research study, my strengths are that I look for different methods and evaluated which was the most appropriate for my objectives. Also, I always consider my advisor's suggestions, taking into account that they were going to help me to carry a better study. My weaknesses is that I didn't use, at the beginning, I didn't use the most relevant and reliable references because I tend to look for specific and concrete definitions. Thus, my challenge is to be more open-minded when looking for sources. Regarding my internship experience, my strengths are that I always consider my students' interests when planning my lesson and my materials. I try to create engaging activities and materials for them in order to make them participate more, and that I consider my tutor's advice. Regarding my weaknesses, I didn't evaluate the effectiveness of my lesson, so I just focused on the development of the lesson, but not evaluating if the contents were really understood by the students. And this is mainly because I was given little time to do my lessons. Thus, my challenge is to consider all the parts of the lesson as important. And these are the references I use.
Thank you very much, Nico.